Hi there, Tony from Days Out Travel. I hope you're all tickety boo. Just following up on a short I did actually last week about London and using these rail cards as a two for one to get into all the major attractions and save you an arm and a leg, figuratively speaking. I got a comment on there from a couple of people saying, "Oh, that London isn't really Britain, and it's an international city. It's a bit blah blah," which is maybe that's a fair enough statement. So what I'll do, I thought a little bit of follow up. So if you are coming to London for any period and you want to get out of the city and go to some other places in the UK for day trips, there's quite a few interesting options. So I'm going to run down some of them today. Let's start off with the lovely Georgian West Country city of Bath. Bath is about an hour and a half from London. The most effective way to get there is by train. Trains are every half an hour, fairly frequent. So that's good. Buy your tickets in advance because they can be quite expensive on the day. The train ride down there is actually really good because once you get past Reading, you go through sort of Berkshire and then into sort of Wiltshire, I think, and then Somerset. And the countryside around there is just really nice. And as you come into Bath itself, the railway line is elevated, so you come in at a height, so you get to see the countryside and the cityscape. So that alone is just a great way to sort of experience the city. Once you get off the train, there's a few different sort of highlights. You've got the Roman baths. That I suppose is what the place is known for. The cathedral's lovely. The Royal Crescent, the houses there. That's also very very beautiful. Great food as well. Some couple of Michelin starred restaurants down there, and also a great little tip is right on top of the train station is Bath Ales. I really like Bath Ales, so pop in there maybe for a spot of lunch and a couple of beers on the way back. But Bath is definitely one of the easiest ones to get to from London as well. If you wanted, you can stay on the train another 20 minutes and go to Bristol. Bristol is someone that's close to my heart as I was born there. I also went to university there. Bristol, say again, you come into the Temple Mead station or Parkway or whatever it is, the waterways around there, the harbour's lovely. You can go up to the Clifton Suspension Bridge, again, fantastic views, a couple of museums and other things. It's a good way to sort of have a wander around. But out of the two, I would probably go to Bath. And actually, if you stayed on the train another half an hour, you go to Weston-super-Mare, which is my hometown. But I wouldn't necessarily put that on the list for anyone visiting London. Next one is Oxford, which, along with Cambridge, are the prime university towns of the UK. I've not actually been to Cambridge, so I can't really comment. I have been meaning to go there, but yeah, as of yet, not managed it. The experience of Oxford, though, was really nice. It's very easy to get to again from London Paddington. I think it's 45 minutes on the train, so it's really, really quick and close. It's definitely worth having a stroll around the various colleges. Some of the architecture is absolutely stunning, really quite distinctive. Actually, you don't see too much of that sort of stuff in the UK. There's also plenty of other things. There's a great museum that's free, like most museums in the UK. There is a botanical garden that's lovely, and there's just also so many like canals and sort of waterways, and it's just a really, really nice vibe. So I would definitely have a look at Oxford if you wanted to get out of London at least for one day. Seaside choice next, and I'm going to go for Worthing. There you go. That's going to be controversial. Worthing on the south coast. Everyone's probably going to expect me to say Brighton, and yes, Brighton is by far the most well serviced seaside town close to London. There's tons of trains down there and all that sort of stuff, and it's by far the most developed. However, I'm not the biggest fan of it. It's just stupidly expensive. It's basically London prices. You go down at certain times of the bank holidays or in the summer, it's heaving. When I say heaving, it's heaving. And I found when I've gone down at those times, there's lots of trash everywhere and the rubbish is overflowing. It's very intense. That's not to say there aren't some nice parts. I think like obviously you can go down to the lanes and all that. Maybe if you go, I've always enjoyed going to Brighton off peak, so in the dreary winter. But I'm going to go with Worthing rather than Brighton. Yeah, it's a little bit further along, but it's just a lot more quaint and charming. There's a lot more sort of individuality there. With the shops, with the restaurants, with the pubs, and so on. And the just general sort of feeling of the place is a lot more calm and relaxed, and a bit more sort of traditional than perhaps Brighton is. But yeah, Worthing's a good place to pop out if you want to see the British seaside. Next on the list is Box Hill. Box Hill is about an hour on the train from London down towards Surrey. It's in the Surrey Hills. There's actually quite a lot to do around this area. The thing about this, though, is just the countryside is British countryside, probably at its best, certainly in terms of vicinity to London. Box Hill itself is, I think, the highest peak in that part of the world. So you go up there and fantastic views. And really, it's something for everyone. If you want to do a massive sort of 10, 15 mile hike around there, you can. If you want a nice, gentle walk up, you can as well. There's also the nearby town of Dorking, which is quite quaint and quite pretty, and quite a few little sort of individual kind of things in there. You also have the Denbies Wine Estate, which is I've not actually been. I've only walked through it, but hey, you can obviously have a few glasses of wine and a wine tour too. But I would just say this is just quintessential British countryside. Just go down if the weather's nice, just lovely walks, plenty of sort of rivers and bits of nature, and so many great things. So still definitely Box Hill and the vicinity, and they've also got a couple of pubs around there too. One thing I would say is just be wary that if you do are going on those long walks, there aren't a huge amount of toilets, so you need to sort of maybe plan your route out accordingly. I'm going to cheat a bit now and say organised day tours. The reason I've gone for organised day tours is the examples I've given thus far have really been you getting on public transport and doing it yourself. However, quite a few of the really nice places to see in the UK can be hard to do if you suddenly want to tick a few boxes. Perfect example would be Stonehenge. You can do Stonehenge in the day, although it's a bit of a pain to get to. However, a great guided tour will take you down to Windsor, so you can see the castle and get there, which is another great place you can go. You can then go down to Bath and then Stonehenge all in one day. So that's a really effective option to sort of tick off those sort of iconic places. Likewise, the Cotswolds. People tell you how beautiful the Cotswolds is. It's lovely. It can be a bit of a pain to get to, and the public transport there is not great. So having an organised tour might be a huge benefit to see these sort of places you may not get to see if you just were walking or got the train down. Likewise, places like the White Cliffs of Dover. So have a look around at those kind of options. But those are definitely things that I would recommend if you want to sort of get a load or two or three or four things out of the way all in one go. Out of the way, no, if you like to enjoy three or four amazing places in one day, that's a great option. Last option for today, and by far the most ambitious, is Paris. Yes, you can use the Eurostar and get the train from London directly to Paris. They're very frequent and they're very effective, apart from when the French are striking. Usually, they run like clockwork, a couple of hours, depending on time difference and various other things. Obviously, you're not going to be able to go to all the museums, the Louvre, and everything. But if you wanted to just maybe get off the train, do the highlights, see the Eiffel Tower, see the Louvre, see Notre Dame, walk along the Seine, you can do it. You can do it. You may need to leave bloody early, and you may need to come back pretty late to try and cram stuff in. But it's definitely an option. And I would say, obviously, Paris over Brussels. You can go to Brussels as well, and Bruges as another option. But yeah, if you really want to push the boat out and get actually to a different country, the Eurostar is a perfect way to do it. Anyway, so that's a selection. That's not everything you could do. There's a ton of other places all scattered around you can look at. But that's just an initial list to get you started. So hopefully, like the people on the who commented on my short saying London's rubbish, those will give you some potential options to get out of London and see some other places. Until next time, ta ta.